Hi, everyone. I'm DeFi Dad. You're watching episode 13 of Yield TV. All right. So I've got with me my friend Sandeep. Sandeep, how do I pronounce your last name? I just say Nailwal, but I'm assuming it's mispronounced.
Yeah. No, so I mean it's perfectly fine. So I generally, jokingly say that you remember the nail and you have the wall, right? So you put the nail on the wall. So
there we go. Perfect. Yeah. It's funny because Sandeep was kind enough to join us, even though he's presenting at ETH Online in literally 30 minutes. So we're going to talk for about 20, 25 minutes, all about Matic, about layer 2 technology. I'm actually really curious just to kind of catch up on how Matic, well, first off, congrats. You guys have been doing clearly very well. A lot of great teams are building with Matic. I just interviewed Marguerite de Courcelles yesterday, who's the CEO of Neon District. So Neon District is also built on Matic. So yeah, anyways, that's really what I'd love to cover with you today while we've got time. And just to make sure we're mindful of your schedule, is 25 minutes after good? Like, can we go till then, or we can get you off earlier than that?
Yeah, 25 minutes is fine. Like, I think 20 minutes, like 21 minutes from now, because I'll need just 5 minutes to hop on to online. Yeah, but the good thing is that the topic there is also like the state of layer 2. So it's a good thing. Like it will be a continued conversation over there also. Yeah.
And is that, by the way, where you're going to present? Is that at ethglobal.online? Is that the correct website? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Watch it live stream. I'm just going to copy this and we'll put this in. I'll show this as you're speaking, just to remind folks, and share it so they can potentially go watch you there after we're done. Dude, let's just start from the beginning. For those who are not aware of what Matic is, can you just define like what is Matic? What's the value that you all deliver to the Ethereum ecosystem?
Yeah, so we set out to build like a layer 2 system which kind of scales Ethereum, and we started with the journey with a Plasma implementation. When we started at that time, Plasma was really really hot in the Ethereum space for the scalability, and then I think we were the first which implemented the my MVP. And then we went live with our mainnet after 1.5 years of productionizing the system and having a multi-operator proof of stake based Plasma Plasma system which can be used for various kind of things. So many people don't understand that like originally Plasma was built for payments only, right? But what we did differently is that we had an EVM on the sidechain which actually kind of mimics the payments in a way that it kind of on the main chain it reflects like an UTXO itself. So it's provable, right? So you have the payments and everything is provable on the main chain. And then on the EVM side, like you can do generic smart contracts because it's a proof of stake network also which is running the Plasma. Like the operators of Plasma are essentially proof of stake based participants. But the cool part is that you could write your generic smart contracts over there, and if you wanted them to be Plasma-fied, like by Plasma-fied you mean that you want to be able to verify and kind of run fraud proofs on Ethereum main chain, which for payments and DEXs you can already do, like for that is already available on the mainnet. But if you want to do it for any generic smart contracts, you could write something called predicates. And a predicate is nothing but a proving mechanism on Ethereum main chain that whatever is happening on the layer 2, you can prove it back on the Ethereum main chain. So for all the generic use cases like payments and all that, DEXs, NFTs and whatnot, you already have the inbuilt predicates. But if you are building something custom, let's say for example, let's say Augur wants to build something, right? So they can build a custom predicates which can make things. It's kind of a pragmatic way between two things. Like one way you have Plasma, which is like fully Ethereum verifiable. Other way you have a proof of stake EVM chain. But if you wanted anything on the proof of stake EVM side, any smart contracts, then you could write predicates for it. That's the whole idea that we started. This is our first mainnet. The second, like now our vision is like, further like expanded, we want to be able to provide like a generic layer 2 platform. Because I think one thing I always say to many people I meet is that in terms of talking to the number of dApp development teams, like I can very confidently say no team in the crypto space, no team would have spoken to dApp developers than us, right? And then, we realize that even on the layer 2, there is no size, fits all kind of solution. Like you need multiple different use cases need different kind of layer 2s for them. So what we are like slowly gravitating towards is a generic kind of layer 2, if can be available for various kind of use cases. So more on that to be posted soon, but yeah, that's like the basic idea.
Sandeep, how about for the end user, like someone like myself that's using DeFi, and like I've used Augur. Can you talk to me about like what's the difference in experience? Like I've used Ethereum DeFi applications on layer 1. I know what it's like to suffer from like a chain that's very congested and gas fees. Yeah, it's been quite a few months of like demonstrating this is why we need layer 2. And I think it's great because there was definitely a narrative there for a while. Like I've actually been one who's been kind of pounding that, hey, we can do a lot more on layer 1. Many people underestimate what we can do on layer 1, but man, like we definitely blew that out of the water the last few months. And it was like, what are we going to do now at 500 Gwei? That blocks a lot of people from using it. So yeah, anyways, what's the difference for the end user with layer 2? And what should an end user be aware of? Like, is there any conscious choice I can make? Or is it just I, as the end user, I benefit when teams build, let's say with Matic, versus when they don't build with Matic?
Yeah. So as a user, it's a choice of the developer rather than the user. So if the developer is building application on layer 2, then as a user, you get to interface with that. So one good application, so actually gladly that just went live. So that's why I can speak about it. So one of the like very, popular and like I think in the space, like more successful betting platform, not betting, like prediction markets is called, Sportex, right? So have you heard of Sportex, sportex.bet? So they are doing very well in the sports betting field. And they, a few days back, they went live and we today like officially announced about it. And if you see, like they have built an entire meta transaction kind of experience. So when like to come to your question that for a user, what is difference in Matic and Ethereum? Only difference is that you will need to deposit, like you will need to do first one transaction to deposit your asset on the sidechain. And after that, on the sidechain or whatever, on the layer 2, you can do like millions and millions of like thousands and thousands of transactions, if not million, at a very low gas. So it is so low that implemented full on end-to-end meta transactions. So once your funds are there on the side chain, then it's like a click experience for you, right? Like a web 2 experience. And that is what you can achieve with something like Matic. Recently, like with the EasyFi protocol, they launched it's like they started with a compound like fork, but they want to add uncollateralized lending and micro lending kind of use cases. So they launched, I think, last Friday, and then people easily, I think the TVL got into somewhere around like 30 million or something like that in no time, like around 1 or 2 days. Being on layer 2, that's not like a big narrative that way, but in like many people don't know that, but they actually at the peak they had like some $33 million in their this thing, like with the liquidity mining and all that. And then now people are looking to use that platform, and they went live. So but for the users, once their funds are there on the Matic sidechain, then what EasyFi did was simply airdrop like 0.1 Matic, which is like 0.2, and 0.1 Matic you could do like 100 to like basically in 2 cents you can do like 1,000 transactions on Ethereum, right? So on Matic, right? And then the gas fees is actually completely out of the park. So that's why users are able to use and the user experience for the end users, which can attract mass market. Because till now we are still rotating this money between some like 800 to 300 people, maybe 2,000. like who has this whole money moving around in the DeFi. But
Yeah,
use cases wherein or experiences, which has mass market appeal and the mass market user can use it.
Of all the DeFi apps that I use, like one example is I use Loopring's DEX, and so am I right to say that? Oh, hey, actually, by the way, before I continue with this, can you go on Twitter and delete so that the link you posted is actually the link to join the live stream? It's fine. No one can jump in, but I've seen a few like jump in and be like, oh crap, you can tell they're like, what am I doing here? Yeah, you can go to that and just delete that. That's all.
Okay,
it's no. It's kind of funny. I've actually been like surprised no one else has done this yet, just because it's like a green link. So what I was going to ask you, Sandeep, is so I have used Loopring DEX. So when I've used that, like I have to connect my wallet, or they call it registering an account. I'm connecting it to the Merkle tree, I think. And then after I connect to the Merkle tree, I deposit, let's say, some Ether. And then once I'm in the DEX, I mean, it's like magic. I can just, it feels like the experience on something like a Coinbase. Everything is immediate. Trades happen in less than a few hundred milliseconds. But that's the experience I would have with anything. Like that's the goal, right? Behind like using a Matic. That's the goal for me to play like an NFT powered game on Matic.
Exactly. You're bang on for that. Like, once you are there in the layer 2, the pain is that you're taking it to the layer 2, you have to do a transaction. And when you are moving it out of a layer 2, like something like Loopring, they have like 10 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. We also have a, for the POS, like if you're using pure POS, then you can withdraw in 30 minutes. But if you're using Plasma, times can be higher, like maybe, 7 days or whatever. But then there are mechanisms to do a faster exit. But if you're using pure POS, then you can exit in 30 minutes. So I think deposit and withdrawal are the only friction elements. Apart from that, I think, the overall, like once you are into the layer 2, it's like that same experience, right? So having a bank account, registering an account and all that versus using a Venmo, right? So it's it's like.
So yeah, am I correct to say, and I probably can't state it as like a blanket generalization of this, but if I am using an Ethereum application that is built on Matic, it is just the entry and exit point, the deposit, the withdraw. For the most part, I should just be signing transactions, right, with my wallet. Like if I'm interacting with something, let's say with a game, or actually, let's do this. As long as that's correct, give me some examples of applications that people should check out that are built on Matic that they can use, today, that are already available.
So you can use, let's say, sportex.bet, right? So one is I said sportex.bet, that's the URL. Then other one is easyfi.finance, EASY fi.finance, easyfi.network, I think, easyfi.network, right? Then you can also go to quickswap.exchange, which is like a Uniswap clone on the sidechain, right? So there also you can experience. Recently, Define has also come up. I don't know what's the URL for them, but Define is also building like a cross-chain liquidity aggregator. So any of these, if you want to play games, you can play like for now, I think you can use Synergy of Sierra or Block Lords, or let's say your this one. I think you would have much more fun using sportex.bet, because because they have automated the like meta transactions.
Try that one. Yeah.
Try that out. Yeah. Like that's a much funny experience, I think, like fun experience. Not funny.
Is it
fun experience?
One thing, are you sure it's sportx.bet? I tried that one. I'm looking for the URL right now. Oh, here we go. Sportx.bet. Oh, it's because it's not available to me in the US. Shoot, are you able to show me sportx.bet?
Okay. So it's available in the Canada. I think it's not available to you.
Yeah. Just got to get the VPN out. Not that I would use the VPN, but I will do it later. So
yeah. Yeah, then you can use easyfi.finance maybe. So for now, yeah, just go there. So one thing I want to.
Oh no, go ahead, Sandeep. What were you saying?
So one interesting thing you said that once you are there on the side on the layer 2, then you are only signing. See, if it's so somebody has to pay for the whoever is hosting the network, right? So I think right now in most, like I think with Loopring also they are hosting it for the community, but at the end somebody is hosting that machines when the transactions are happening, right? In case of Matic, we have already decentralized that. That's why like many people say that it's like
cool.
production ready, right? So it's not a demo. It's like a full-blown production-ready system. And then now only we have around 30, 35 validators, and this is expected to go to 100 plus validators. So on Matic, when you go, you still have a gas-like system, gas fees-like system, but the gas fees are extremely low. So you would have already seen that when you are there on easyfi, and if easyfi site, you will already see if this is a very old kind of updation here, like sites are not updated over here. The best way is to go to Matic Network announcement.
Gotcha.
Decentral games, like just open the URL of decentral games. Yeah, that is also one cool thing that you'll really like it. Looking at the user experience.
No, it's good to know that. So that's one of the differences that you've called out. That was my other question is, how does Matic differ from other layer 2 solutions? Since like I'm an end user, so it's not gonna, at the end of the day, like I'm just using applications. But it seems like one of them is the intent and the progress to actually decentralizing the Matic network. What else is there to be mindful of? Like, again, like I'm an end user, but I guess if I was a developer building, like what is there competition between Matic and, I'm assuming like you look at like optimistic Ethereum. Gosh, honestly, I'm trying to think of like what else would be a direct competitor.
Loopring, for example, right? So yeah. So I think in the spirit of the Ethereum community, like many people are designing these different protocols, and as I said, that all of these layer 2s, there's no one size fit all solution for it, right? So like today only, I think optimistic Ethereum is really cool, and their team is really one of the best teams, right, in the space. Especially they work closely with Talik and all that. So their solution is definitely like with an optimistic rollup. I think it would be a cool solution for DeFi. But then in terms of the censorship resistance of the system, in terms of that system will also have a 1 week withdrawal period, right? So if you wanted to withdraw to Ethereum, I think they will also have like somewhere between one day to 1 week withdrawal period. So today only, I think. Sorry. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Just give me 1 sec. I think.
Oh yeah, they're probably calling you online. They're like, Sandeep, are you going to come? But by the way, let's get you off in 5 minutes or less here. But this is really interesting because, I tend to think about it as we are so early and there's so much to build. And so it's a matter of like knowing who benefits the most by building on Matic, who benefits the most by building on like an optimistic Ethereum. And am I right to say Matic is more ideal for gaming? Like I tend to think of you guys with lots of gaming applications.
Just give me 1 sec, Travis,
yeah, there we go. By the way, if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask them here in the comments. I'll ask him some of these if he knows about BNSD if we have time. Why its price isn't increasing. I could ask him, but it's I'm focused on the utility of Matic. Yeah, Sandeep, go right ahead.
I'm really sorry. NFT side, you said that most of the top NFT projects, if you speak to them, they are like somewhere or the other will be integrating with Matic. But I'm really sorry. I need to get going because the presentation starts in like few minutes, right? So but
everyone. So go to. I mean, if you're more than welcome to stay and watch Yield TV, but go to its ETH Global Let me just double check. ETH Global.
Okay.
Yeah, ethglobal.online. You can watch Sandeep there give a talk if you're interested to learn more about Matic. Dude, so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to cover a few other things here, but yeah, man, we'll talk soon, and I'd love to have you back on. And thank you. I learned a lot in 15 minutes from you. Feel like I know a lot more about Matic and layer 2s.
Thanks, man. I would love to come back once, maybe next to next week somewhere time.
Oh, dude, anytime. Yeah, we can have you back anytime. Thanks so much. Good luck with your talk.
Thanks,
all right, so let's go ahead and cover a few recent topics. Again, thanks again to Sandeep for joining us briefly there to talk about Matic Network and layer 2s. Let's talk about some recent news. So I'm going to share my screen here in a few different places. Let's go to Shell Exchange. We had the Shell protocol team on a few days ago, and this is a new stablecoin liquidity protocol. This is audited. So if you check out shells.exchange, they have been through an audit with consensus diligence. That doesn't mean that folks should, dump life savings into this. It's still newly launched smart contracts. But this is a place similar to Curve where you can deposit stable coins. These are the 4. And if you deposit those, you can earn a share of the trading fees. There is no liquidity mining program at this time, so just be mindful. It's purely market making fees that can be earned, and you can go there and deposit or withdraw those if you've already got it in the pool. And then more importantly is the swap is there so that you can trade between these. And I believe this is hooked up with 1inch Exchange, which is a DEX aggregator that does a lot of trading volume, and it's one that I use. All right, so next up here, let's talk about Powerpool just for a moment. Here we go. There we go, Powerpool. So Powerpool is focused on lending and borrowing and providing exposure to governance tokens. The idea is that governance tokens hold a lot of voting power in protocols that manage a lot of money in DeFi on Ethereum. So Powerpool here launched an index. They call it the baby index. And I'll actually show you what it looks like here I'll show you what it looks like on the Powerpool website. So here we go. So on the Powerpool website, which is still very new, I think it's less than a few months old. I believe they've been going through an audit, but again, approach this all with a lot of caution. This is the index that I was referring to. So you've got Lend, which is migrating to Aave now, Wi-Fi, SNX, CVP, which is the governance token of Powerpool, Comp, Wrapped NXM, which is for Nexus, Maker, and Uni. So this is a way for one to gain exposure to all of these sort of like blue chip governance tokens. And just to make you all aware, if you go to Powerpool.finance, you can learn about the liquidity mining program. If one adds liquidity to this, they will end up earning liquidity mining rewards. So you can add liquidity here. It's still a multi-asset deposit, which means that if I add like some Wi-Fi here, let's pretend I put in 0.01. Oops. Let's just put in the max here. If I put in whatever Wi-Fi, it's actually going to tell me, okay, here's how much you need of Lend and all the other tokens. So this is an example of one having to prepare the proportions of each token in advance, whereas many of us have gotten used to using like a balancer where you can do a single asset deposit. That's coming, I think, sometime in the near future based on what I've read in their Medium posts. Let's see, anything else with Powerpool? I think that just about covers it. But yeah, anyways, you can earn the CVP token. I am not endorsing or recommending that, but just wanting to inform everyone. It's a really interesting project. And I think it's interesting they focus on allowing one to borrow governance tokens or to lend them. Another thing to be mindful of is DeFi dollar. So this will be the last bit, and then we can hop into some questions. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Where are the shell guys? They can surf in the backyard. I missed that there. That's really funny. Okay, so DeFi dollar just launched a governance token as well. Let me share my screen for that. Let's try to walk through what they shared. Okay, so DeFi dollar launched, I think, a few months ago. The idea is a pretty well accepted one in DeFi. It's to have another sort of basket of stable coins. And the idea with this is if you have DUSD, you have diversified exposure to different stable coins. And the hope is that by holding that, we strengthen the pegs of these different stable coins. And we also hedge against the risk of one of them collapsing and failing. Let's see what else we got here. So they just launched a retroactive distribution, kind of like Uniswap, which means that they are rewarding people that have participated in this. So for those that have been participating in DeFi dollar since August 27th, there are rewards to potentially claim here soon, or there are rewards that you will be able to claim. And those have to do with, let's see, let's look, where are we here? So as they're launching this DFD, which is a governance token, that is going to have a 56% distribution to the community incentives. And scroll further. So the distributions will be considered from the time of the DUSD cap having risen to 9 million on September 4th. And that means that holders and stakers that participated in the SWDUSD through October 7th, I think those are folks that are going to end up getting some retroactive reward. There are incentives also, I guess, for those that participated in the balancer pool for DUSD with USDC or ETH. So that's something else to check out. I'll put this into the show notes, but worth checking out if you've been involved in DeFi dollar already. It's a nice surprise. You're definitely going to get some reward. And if you haven't, at least it's another stablecoin project to be aware of. And then with this DUSD, or with DFD, which is the governance token launching, there will be opportunities then with a new liquidity mining program. I think that just about covers it. Oh, and then the app is app.dusd.finance. Be mindful of bookmarking these. If you check it out, make sure you're always using the official DeFi dollar medium. Find them on Twitter and make sure that all signs point to it being the real DeFi dollar. I think there's going to be lots of opportunity for phishing attacks in the coming months, just because someone could put up a fake looking DeFi dollar Twitter account, and then they could put up a link that would allow them to, take advantage of you and try to get you to give up a private key. All right, let's see if there's any questions here. Cool. No questions right now. Let me know if you do have any questions in the comments. That's really, I think, all we're going to end up covering today at 2:00 Eastern. Feel free to hop into the Zapper Discord. That is where we end up having our community calls. So if you hop over to the community channel in the Zapper Discord, we'll provide instructions there how you can join. It's a totally open forum, different than this. I much rather prefer that, because then you can just openly ask questions and we can, try to help one another understand all the different mechanisms in DeFi. Also, too, we can help with things like Zaps or even the Zapper dashboard if you have questions there. All right. Well, no more questions here for right now. I'm just going to cut it short here today. This was great. I like having a short Friday. Here we go. Shoot, Garth just asked a question. How does DeFi dollar work? Can I use ETH to get DeFi dollar? So actually, yes, the answer is you could use ETH to get it. Just to clarify, the DeFi dollar is much like holding the DeFi dollar is like holding a stable coin that's made up of other stable coins. And so if you were to hold that, I guess I think like one reason I might hold it is because I'm fearful of one of those stable coins failing, and I'd rather have diversified exposure to that. But I would also be mindful of the DeFi dollars new. So those are newer smart contracts. And I always get kind of weary of anything that's new because it's been less battle tested. And I worry about bugs. What else there? You could go to in Balancer, which is linked through the DeFi dollar Medium post here. I'll put this into the comments. This is the Medium post that I was just showing. That Medium post at the very bottom of it. Let's go back and show you this. In this Medium post, there's a link to the DUSD ETH Uniswap pool. And so that's a place where one could easily swap Ether for DUSD. There's also DEX aggregators, like we have one at Zapper.fi/exchange. Could double check there if we're routing orders there. We should, because it's through Uniswap. So let me just pull that up here. DUSD. Okay, I'm gonna have to find the DUSD. I'm gonna have to find the actual address for that. Give me just 1 second. So when you have newer tokens, actually, I'll just show this because this is actually kind of helpful. When you have a newer token, it's often not listed in terms of like a logo that's recognizable on Uniswap. So what you can do is if you can find a link that you can trust from something like a Medium post from the official team, they'll normally have a link to this Uniswap info page. So here's DUSD. So if I click on it, I'm now on the DeFi dollar token page for Uniswap. And this is where I could then find out, well, you can see right here, this is the token address for DUSD. So let me reshare another page here. Share this screen. Okay, so here we go. So this is the DeFi dollar. And so this is the address. This is the contract address for DUSD. I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste that into, I'm going to try this actually with Zapper first and see. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do it there. Let's go straight to Uniswap. Okay, long story short, let's just show you that Uniswap page. So this is a brand new token, normally is not as easy to find. So we're back on info.uniswap.org. I've got the DeFi dollar page. If I hit trade, oh, and I need to show you that other page, sorry. Streaming software doesn't make this as easy. All right, here we go. So this is a new token, and you notice if I have to click that I understand that there's some risk to this. You know, they basically are trying to warn you, are you sure you're on the right token? And yeah, now I could go from Ether to DUSD, and it should be around $1 based on the peg. So that's it. Sorry, that was a lot there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this into the comments here. If anyone's interested, that is one of the places, that's one of the pools that's in Uniswap where you can go from Ether to DUSD. So there's that. Garth was asking, can you zap into it? Not yet. So this is, since it's newer, we're always a little bit cautious with new contracts, just because if there was, let's say, a bug in something that's that new, we're a little, we're always just a little bit worried about providing like a gateway to something that could backfire on folks. So but we'll see here. It's just a matter of time and bandwidth to getting that up. When will stocks be available on DeFi? Good question. So you want to follow synthetics. Synthetics, let me just quickly show this. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen in just a minute here. Okay, let me share my screen. So synthetics is fully devoted to exactly what you see here, on-chain exposure to any asset class. That means that one could gain on-chain exposure, as in exposure on Ethereum, to other cryptocurrencies that aren't actually powered by Ethereum. So like one could go long or short on something like Tezos, Cardano, the Binance token, TRX. It also allows you to gain exposure to Forex. And then equities right now is limited to these two indices. So the idea is that eventually here you will be able to gain exposure to S means long, and then I means inverse in the world of synthetics. So these are synths, or like you could, more commonly call it a derivative. So I can gain exposure then in the future to something like SGOOG or SSPX. And that would allow me then to gain on-chain exposure to stocks or equities. But right now it's just these indices, which I think is a great place to start, just because indices are tend to outperform trying to pick stocks. And there's also some commodities here like silver and gold. So pretty cool stuff. And then all you have to do is go to, let's go and trade on synthetics. So, it looks like any other exchange, except you can trade between any of the assets. There's no such thing as like a pairing. You can basically transform your S Bitcoin into SUSD, or S Bitcoin into, let's look up SXAU. Here we go. Like something like this. I could be trading from, let's say, gold back to Bitcoin. It's a really cool idea. I mean, it's about, again, making it more frictionless and easy to gain exposure to any asset class, but it's all powered by synths, which are over collateralized 600% by those that are staking SNX, which you don't need to know about. As long as you go to synthetics.exchange and you can connect an Ethereum wallet, all you need to do is you need SUSD, or I guess any of the other ones here that you can find on like a Uniswap. I tend to think of SUSD, which is a stablecoin dollar that's powered by synthetics, or synthetic ether is very liquid, and that's on Balancer or Uniswap. All right, let's stop sharing that. Oh, and Garth had a clarification here. Just to clarify, the DeFi dollar, this is kind of like a stablecoin index. Yeah, Garth, that's a good way to think about it. Kind of like a stablecoin index. You're holding an assortment of stablecoins. The Shell protocol guys, they have weights to those different tokens. So there was DAI, USDC, I think it was True US. Oh no, I think it was Tether and Synthetic USD. And it was like 10% SUSD, the synthetics dollar, and then it was 30% of the others. So yeah, that's the idea. I mean, it's hard to imagine one of these stable coins failing with how liquid they are at this point, but anything can happen, and that would be a pretty scary sort of thing. I do know too that the way impermanent loss works, if I was holding a dollar that, let's pretend that I am in like a pool that is in Balancer or Curve. If one of them goes to zero, they all go to zero. And that's one of the things I found really interesting with Shell protocol is it seems like they are trying to design a way to protect ourselves from that sort of like doomsday event where one of them goes to zero. Like you would still be able to, let's say Synthetics US dollar goes to zero. If I'm holding one of those shells with, it still has USDC DAI and true USD or Tether, I think is what it is. I think it'll be able to maintain that value better, but I don't fully understand it, but it's definitely cool stuff to kind of try to learn about and track. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Thoughts on Andre? Can you clarify in terms of thoughts on Andre? I think it's been really nice. Gas prices are actually down now. Let me just double check. They're still, I guess, up compared to a year ago, but like the Ethereum Gas Tracker right now is showing. It's showing that it's 86 Gwei to get a transaction through in 11 minutes. If we refresh this, let's see. Now it's 72 Gwei. This is something I always use to check before I ever do a transaction. I literally hit refresh right before I hit confirm. I double check it. I change it as quickly as possible in the MetaMask transaction. And if it was like 72 Gwei to 108, like I might choose something in the middle so it gets through in less than 35 minutes or somewhere around 2 minutes. The reason I bring this up is the fact that gas prices have come down. Like clearly there's some mania of growth we just went through. And I think it's always good when we have like a moment of normalcy where people can be reminded that prices don't just go up forever. And for Andre, he's been under, I think, a tremendous amount of pressure. So I'm hoping he's been able to catch his breath. And I know they're working on V2 of Urine.finance. So that means new vaults. So the Y vaults each have their own strategy. And there's all sorts of other stuff that they were working on. They kept releasing new products. So yeah, I hope everyone can sort of clear their heads. I know it's a lot of pressure, and he's a very, I think he's a really great person, just having sort of watched him over the last year. Yeah, he is a legend, actually. He should be more properly referred to as a legend. Just a good dude, great builder, very talented person, and has shockingly very little ego. He's such a humble person, the way he talks about what he's accomplished. So let's see. Great to have options. Thank you. Thanks, Garth. All good. Yeah. And guys, if you have questions about Zapper, feel free to toss them in here. Also, feel free to join us at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is in about an hour and 15 minutes. You can join us. Actually, I'm going to grab a Discord link here and just toss it in case you want to join us in Zapper Discord. Let's see here. Invite. There's Zapper. Here we go. That is the link to the Discord and Zapper. The support channel is, I think, where there's the most activity, a lot of questions in there, a lot of help. All right. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the good questions. We'll be back next week, and we've got 4 episodes next week. I think we're going to start to taper off to maybe doing 3 episodes a week, but would love to get your feedback if you, would love to get folks' feedback on whether we should be doing this 5 days a week or whether it should be 2 or 3 days a week. I'm worried about oversaturating people with too much content, and then like people end up not watching the show. So let us know if you have thoughts on that. Next week, the schedule is, let me just open it up here. All right, so on Monday, we're going to have Gabriel Haynes. He is a DeFi YouTuber. He's very good at explaining DeFi. I really like Gabriel, and I definitely am a fan of anyone making videos, just because I think we need more and more of us making videos about DeFi to help educate people. Gabriel covers a lot of everything, I guess, but he's been exceptionally talented in covering Yearn. So excited to have Gabriel on. It'll be fun just to kind of talk DeFi with him. We're going to have Lasse Clausen, I think is his last name. Lasse is a partner of 1KX, which is it's a very bullish VC in terms of how they've invested in DeFi. And they've definitely been ahead of the curve. I mean, they were bullish on DeFi before it became trendy. So I've really enjoyed sort of following him in terms of like his investor theses. Then we're going to have on Wednesday, we're going to have, I think the way to pronounce is Aiken Fellman. He's definitely like a DeFi super user, but I think he also helps sort of think about how to bridge legacy finance with DeFi. So excited to have him on. And we'll have Cooper Turley from Audius. Cooper's been involved in a bunch of DeFi projects, but he, I think, is working mainly with Audius right now. And I'm excited to kind of highlight that as a use case because I talk a lot about DeFi. And I've been thinking a lot about NFTs in gaming, but Audius is one of the most used Ethereum applications that I think a lot of people don't know about because it's music related. And then the users that are using Audius, it's Audius, AUDIUS.co. I think a lot of the users using it have no idea that it's empowered by Ethereum. So that will be it. And then the week after that, we'll have Arthur from D Finance Capital. He goes by Arthur0x. So he'll be talking with us in a few weeks. We've got some interviews coming up with Michael Dunworth. And I think that's just about it. So if you have suggestions for guests, please tweet at yield_TV, or you can tweet at me, DeFi_dad. And gosh, other than that, please subscribe to this channel. So anyways, thanks so much, everyone. Have a great weekend and stay safe. Bye.